The Classic Squiffer is a middleweight charger that boasts impressive charge times, impressive mobility, and great ink efficiency. Unlike other chargers, you'll want to lean into more aggressive playstyles. So let's discuss how to get the most out of this weapon in SalmonRun. Stats. Fully charged shots deal 300 damage. Partials range from 50 to 120 depending on how long the charge is held, and tap shots deal 50 damage. Its range is shorter compared to other chargers, however it still has enough range to allow you to take out targets from safety. It takes only 45 frames to fully charge the Squiffer and 8 frames to tap shot. This makes the Squiffer the second fastest charger, only behind the Bamboozler. But unlike the Bamboozler, its fully charged shots can pierce, giving you the ability to hit multiple enemies for 300 damage with one shot. It also has the ability to store full charges, meaning you don't feel like your shots are wasted if you need to relocate quickly. The stored charges can be held for 75 frames, and it takes 27 frames to fire the shot. The unique property that the Squiffer has is that it doesn't lose charge speed when jumping. This is another reason why the Squiffer should be used more proactively when compared to the other chargers. You're given more tools to charge and fire quickly. It also has decent ink efficiency, giving you approximately 12 fully charged shots per full ink tank. The tap shots feel endless, but I wouldn't focus on these. Use them when you need to, especially in sticky situations, but the Squiffer benefits from fully charged shots most of the time. In addition, there is a 20 frame cooldown before ink recovery happens after firing. And lastly, because of its quick charge speed and ability to store charges, you have excellent mobility, meaning you shouldn't have much issue relocating around maps. Bombs are kind of pointless to throw with the Squiffer, due in part to them not really offering anything substantially of value. Sure, they'll be required for certain bosses, but aside from that, the Squiffer has all the damage, paint, range, and piercing that you'll need. The good news is that regardless if you need them or not, the Squiffer's ink tank makes generating bombs and recovering the ink a fairly quick task. Boss slaying. Unlike most other chargers, the Squiffer's great mobility, charge times, and ink efficiency means that it doesn't really struggle against any particular enemy. All enemies can be one-cycled or taken care of quickly due to the Squiffer's 300 damage and ability to pierce. Steelheads are one shot. Steel eels, scrappers, and slamming lids are all 2 shots. Drizzlers are 3 shots, and big shots are 4 shots. With Drizzlers, I'd recommend shooting torpedoes down whenever you get the chance. Flipper floppers can be painted really easily, fish sticks are easily climbable and can be managed with tap shots, and stingers can be taken care of with slight partial charges. The individual pots have 60 HP. The ink tank of the Squiffer is good enough to deal with bomb-heavy spawns too if needing to. Moors and flyfish aren't too troublesome, but it's important to make sure you've got enough ink to escape if needed. For night waves, it's important to remember your ability to pierce, as the biggest threats are usually lessers. During rush, you can take forward positions to clear lines of chum and weaken the goldies for your teammates behind you. For grillers, I'd argue your best place when stunning them, so be sure to remain vigilant. Mothership is really fun with the Squiffer, and you don't need fully charged shots to take out the crates. For waves like Mudmouths and Tornado, you'll manage fine, but just don't forget you might be the best person to deal with lessers, which I'll cover more in depth at the end of the video. For king waves, you should do your best to adapt to what's needed within a comp. The Squiffer has a huge advantage in that it is very flexible with roles and can adapt to what a team needs. Do you need range? Do you need DPS? Do you need piercing? Whatever you need, the Squiffer can do it all. Just make sure you don't forget the objectives within a wave whilst you're having all that fun. Weapon roll. The Squiffer is one of the most enjoyable weapons to be given in SalmonRun because it can fill every role and do everything in the game without much difficulty. Though I'd recommend primarily using this weapon to fight, it's also possible to be more supportive, as its ability to pierce can help your team in tremendous ways. I'll talk about piercing and supporting in the next point, so for now let's talk about the best way to use the Squiffer. To slay. Like all chargers, your default position would lean towards sniping targets and anticipating your shots, playing with a level of caution to ensure you don't get caught off guard. And whilst that does apply to the Squiffer in some aspects, it's not entirely the way you want to play this weapon. You're not encumbered by slow charge time or poor ink reserves, instead being gifted with being able to freely move around the map, the ability to store charges, and a respectable ink tank. In addition, you also don't have the range the other chargers have, but that shouldn't matter because you're not expected to slowly charge shots and patiently wait for targets. With the Squiffer, you're expected to be much more aggressive and on the front lines with other Slayer-type weapons. You're going to get more value out of the weapon by taking risks and throwing yourself in front of enemies, as the Squiffer is a faster, more mobile slaying machine. You'll often be more effective when you're able to skirmish in the chaos of lessers and multiple bosses that can be damaged with piercing shots. Standing back in anticipation of just one shot is not the way to get value out of this weapon. As mentioned, its fast charges, ability to store charges, and great ink efficiency all tells you that you want to be way more aggressive than defensive. The other reason why you should play the Squiffer more aggressively than other chargers is due to its ability to be self-sufficient. What are you held back by with this weapon? What do you need your teammates to do for you? Especially when compared to other chargers, the Squiffer comes out close to top in tier list for SalmonRun because it can do everything, has little downtime, has great paint, great DPS. Truly, I am not exaggerating when I tell you that the Squiffer is one of the best weapons in SalmonRun, and neglecting to maximise the damage you can inflict is just such a waste. Piercing. Like almost every other charger, the Squiffer provides the team with piercing damage, which can sometimes make or break a team's ability to control enemies efficiently. Though you can't pierce through armour, you can pierce through clusters of non-armoured enemies, giving you such an edge over most weapons in the game. This is why the Squiffer is best played when using mostly full charges as opposed to tap shots or partials. You'll likely need to tap shot at times to survive, but you should always prioritise fully charging the weapon to take advantage of piercing through enemies. The best way this is applied is through the management of lessers, but it's important to recognise when any enemy and boss can be pierced through, so you can speed up the process of defeating enemies in potentially risky situations. The key to getting the most out of the Squiffer is to always ensure you're lining up lessers to damage whilst dealing with the actual bosses. Why shoot more times than you need to? From an individual selfish perspective, you're just wasting time and ink when you don't utilise piercing, but from a team perspective, you'll save your team so much time and ink and also give them the safety and space to focus on objectives more. In SalmonRun, you tend to only notice the difficulty lessers pose when you don't have weapons that can pierce or have any AoE spread. They take longer to get through as you have to go through them one by one, and this eventually has a knock-on effect on what you're doing with your time. The reason the Squiffer is so good is because it bypasses this and allows you to damage everything with one hit. It's entirely possible that in some comps you'll take a much more supportive role and help your team defeat bosses and run eggs, whilst also managing the lessers and paint around them. Some weapons can really only slay or they have strict limitations with their role, but not the Squiffer, so it's important to recognise when you should help your teammates by supporting them. It's so important to be damaging Cohocks with fully charged piercing shots whenever possible. Cohocks at 400 HP are one of the biggest hurdles at higher EVP, so being able to weaken them by 75% means you're helping your team substantially with time. Even better, you'll hit 4 or 5 of them with just one shot. I hope this video helps you appreciate the Classic Squiffer a little bit more. I'll catch you guys soon.